Hey, it's Siena Streiber, and you are watching The Music Enthusiast.
Hey guys, it's Gracie from the Music Enthusiast, and today I'm here with Siena Streiber. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I love your music, so I'm so excited to be talking to you.
Oh, thanks. I love
Uh,
hearing that.
Getting into the questions, what made you want to get into music?
Oh my gosh. I grew up just in such a musical household. My mom played all kinds of music for me growing up. And so I think I really got my musical bug from her and listening to like Beatles, Rolling Stones, everything that she basically grew up listening to. Um, but then when I was about 11, my sister started taking guitar lessons, and I was really jealous. And I begged my parents to let me take lessons as well. And I did, and I loved it, and I just fell in love with it. And I realized, like, oh, this is actually something I can do and like have fun doing. And I just didn't stop from there.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite musical memory that you can think of?
Um, Yeah, my first concert, I think I was 7. My mom took me to see Dido, who like nobody really knows who Dido is anymore, but it's so funny because I was clearly the youngest person there, and it was a bunch of like middle-aged women who all were just so excited to see Dido, and it was really fun, and I like knew all the words to her songs, um and it just, yeah, I think that was super formative for me, was just seeing this super strong confident woman on stage singing. I was like, oh, I could probably do that.
Speaking more on your career, how has it been for you starting out in the music industry? Because I know that sometimes it can be very competitive.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think especially the last year with COVID and lockdown, it's it's definitely different. I think everybody's had to adjust, but I try, especially now that I'm older, I've tried really hard to sort of not look at the music industry as a competition, especially because there are so many artists now and so many artists doing their own thing, and nobody's sort of tied down to any sort of specific genres. And um, there's so many artists that I admire. That, at this point it's like I'd much rather, collaborate with someone than try to like be anybody else other than what I'm doing. And so I try to just sort of stay focused on what kind of music I'm writing and putting out into the world, and obviously absorbing as much music as possible. But yeah, it's definitely harder. I think it's definitely harder now than it used to be, in sort of like breaking into the industry. But at the same time, with platforms like Instagram and TikTok, like artists can really just like put out their own stuff and gain a following, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, how do you tend to find inspirations for your songs?
I pull a lot from real life. I think I sort of like took a page from the Taylor Swift handbook of like writing breakup songs, or writing songs about boys and heartbreak, and a lot of that was sort of what I was doing in high school, and even, to now. I think some of the most universal songs that I really love and connect with are the ones that are the most personal,
Yeah.
and the ones that I think really hit you in the heart are ones that, like, oh, this person really, you know, this person really like went through something to like write this song. And I just connect to those songs really on a deeper level. It's like this relationship between artist and fan, or artist and listener. So I'm starting to try to like pull inspiration from like film and TV and experiences that I've yet to have or haven't had, or can kind of only see from afar. But definitely a lot of my personal life is playing a big role in my music.
I mean, continuing with your music, by the time this is out, your song Always Be a Friend will be released. How are you
Mhm.
feeling about that release?
I'm excited. I'm nervous too. I think It's huge for me to be putting something out that is so recent, because my last album slash EP was all music that I wrote when I was 16, 17, and 18, but I put out the album when I was 24. So it was a huge jump. But now, this music is a lot more relevant to my life as it is now. So I'm a bit nervous in that regard. But at the same time, I think this was like exactly what I needed to be doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you write a lot of music and make a lot of music during these times, but how did you
hmm
know that this was going to be your next release?
I That's a good question. I wrote a lot of music last year in lockdown. And this song uh kind of came to me, I think it was May of 2020, and it just, for some reason, it just felt different than what I had written before, whether it was like the music or the lyrics. And I just really felt like it was a song that expressed a lot of what I felt like I was dealing with at the time, and with that particular relationship. And I knew, this is a song that needs to be out in the world. This is a song I think a lot of people can relate to. Um, and I thought it was sort of a great, sort of like almost reintroduction of myself at this point in my life, and where I think my music is going.
Yeah. I mean, you're also releasing a music video for this. How did
hmm
the process for that go? Like, where did your inspiration come from?
It's funny. I actually, so my dad is a photographer, but he's always wanted to do directing, and he's done a few sort of minor things. And I went to him and I was like, "Oh, a good friend of mine I think is going to direct the music video." And he was like, "No, absolutely not. I'm directing. I know what we're going to do." And there's this photo that he took a couple years ago of the Duffer Brothers, who are the creators of Stranger Things, and it's them sort of standing a bunch amongst like a bunch of lights. And I just thought that photo was so cool. And I was like, how can we like amp this up and like scale it up? And so the whole sort of theme of the video revolves around lighting and lights, and sort of the stories you can tell with lighting, and set kind of like setting a mood. um and so it was kind of like high concept, but working with him was so fun. I think both of us were a little bit nervous, like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go, like working with your dad. And he's so professional on a set, and then when he's home with me and my sister, like it's just, so different. So I was not really sure, but once we got on set, it was like super seamless, and it was so much fun, and I would not have traded that for any other director. So I'm really glad that he was the one that got to direct that video.
Obviously, you've been writing music for a while now. Have you seen a change in your music from when you first started to now releasing this song?
For sure. Yeah, I think a lot of the music that I was writing when I was in my teens was, like the classic sort of teenage heartbreak. And there's a lot of sort of melodrama and angst. And you're like, oh, I'm never going to like fall in love again. And I'm never going to meet anyone. And I think now my, just my experiences and my life has changed so much. And I've learned so much about love and heartbreak from who I was when I was that sort of teenage girl. So I think lyrically, my music has definitely changed and gotten stronger. And then also vocally, I mean, if I go back and listen to those vocals, I just sound so different. My voice is like deeper now. And I've definitely grown immensely as an artist and a performer since then. So it's definitely a big change.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have any future projects that you could tell us about or hint at?
Yeah, I've been working on an EP, which I'm hoping will come out later this year, and I'm super excited about it. I think because, for me, it's been sort of an exploration of genres, and the songs all, the songs that I've been working on all kind of go together, but they're all different and all kind of can stand out on their own. So I'm just excited for people to start hearing some of the new stuff I'm working on, because I think it's different than stuff that I've done in the past.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
sort of a fun question for you, but if you could describe yourself and your music in 3 words, what do you think they would be?
Oh, that's narrowing it down to three is so
I know it's
tough.
putting you on the spot.
I know. I'd say romantic, uh honest, and um I'd say like there's a hint of sassiness. So maybe sassy. I don't know.
I mean, those are all good words.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
for your future, do you have any ideal collaborations?
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, I have so many dream collaborations. I probably would die if I ever got to like write music with Harry Styles. Just because I think he's brilliant. I think Fine Line was such a great album. Yeah, I would love to write music with him. I mean, yeah, the list goes on and on. I would love to collaborate with almost anybody that's like on the radio right now. I'd love to write with.
Yeah. Speaking of other artists, do you have a favorite song at the moment?
I mean, I I'm like not gonna lie, I've pretty much been listening to Taylor's version of Fearless on repeat like all weekend, and there are so many songs on that album that I just didn't even really listen to before. So it's been really fun, I think, to go back and listen again, but hear them now as a 25-year-old as opposed to, when I was 13. But yeah, there are a lot of good ones on there. I think Bye Bye Baby is really, really fun. But yeah, and then Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo has just been super fun to listen to too. I think she's amazing, and she's like pretty much, yeah, she's like gonna be huge. I can see it already.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Last question for you. Our website is all about up and coming artists. Do you have anybody that you have your eye on that you would recommend to others?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of artists that I've been discovering through TikTok. And there's this one artist who I think goes by Blue Eyes, who just released a song called Supposed to, which she said is sort of a conglomeration of like Taylor Swift meets Phoebe Bridgers meets, I think, Maggie Rogers. And it's so good. And I haven't been able to stop listening to it. I think she's amazing, and I'm so happy that TikTok sort of like put her on my on my For You page, and that I was able to find her.
Yeah, TikTok has a lot of music recommendations now.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. It's like, yeah, I feel like I'm discovering new artists more through TikTok almost than I am like through friends or even through Spotify. Like you just open the app and you're like, oh my God, who is this? I need to find them and
Yeah.
track them down and listen to all their music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you, but thank you so much for doing this interview.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. It was so much fun.